welcome back. Thank you very much for starting off your afternoons with Sunday Brunch from Houston and for watching TVOne. और चलते हैं वापस जो बात हम कर रहे हैं आज का टॉपिक है कि लोग क्यों हेजिटेट करते हैं एक डॉक्टर के पास जाने से और क्या इससे detrimental effects भी पड़ सकते हैं and why we need to know this and go to the doctor. And let's go back and talk to, we'll start off with you and actually you all can join in. And another question that I have, which I guess I should have told you before the break, do people get afraid because when they go to the doctor, and no offense to anybody, that they're waiting in the doctor's office. You go in, you sign in, and then you're waiting. You're waiting. Then you go in, and then you're waiting again. Do you think that kind of scares people off, or they think we'll have to wait so long? Do you think that is something also?
Yes, and that's why I've kind of tailored my practice to make the patient experience as comfortable as possible. Mm-hmm. We have very comfortable dental chairs. We have flat screen TVs in all the rooms. We have a large staff. We have digital x-rays, so it's actually much quicker and less radiation. People are very concerned about the exposure that they get. So the main thing is if you have a good chairside manner and your patient feels comfortable, then they'll be okay if they have to wait a little bit, but we try to get them in and out as efficiently as possible.
Okay. What about you, Dr. Rango?
Well, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I have actually been a patient a couple of times myself in the last 30, 40 years, and I hate to wait at a doctor's office.
Exactly.
And so I try to make it so that doesn't happen in my office, and it really doesn't unless I'm dealing with an emergency where I literally cannot come out of the room to see my next patient. We schedule a patient, and if we tell him that he's going to be seeing at 9:20, he will be seeing at 9:20, or else I'm going to be very upset at the staff because we want the patient's experience to be just like I would want it. I don't want to waste their time. I don't want them to waste my time either. If they're not on time to see me, then that becomes an issue as well. I'll just go on to the next patient.
Right.
But 99% of the time, if we tell them we're going to see them at a certain time, they will be seeing them at that time.
Okay. And what about you? Do you think that's maybe another reason people don't want to go see a doctor? They'll have to wait so long in the office and just wait. What do you think?
I believe I agree. This is one of the excuses that we give ourselves. But I say that, this is not the only reason. For them, it's a little different. For my practice,
Right.
we are controlled by government. We're regulated by different authorities. We have to do a lot of paperwork. And many times patients don't like it. We don't like it. We wouldn't like to put them through all this. But, through all this, if we were to be like them, that you come and pay us and we see you, we'll probably be not spending that much time on the paperwork. So that kind of pushes us backwards. So that's why many people have to wait for us. We don't want them to wait for us. But that people wait for rides in the Disney World too. So,
Disney
they
World
can wait for a couple of hours. I went to Disneyland. I waited for one ride for 2 hours before I could get on.
Unless you have Fast Pass, then you can just go through that.
Then,
Then it's different. But these are factors where people might hesitate to go see doctors because those are some things. Another thing that's a big concern is affordability. I mean, how going to a doctor and you're thinking, okay, this is a big amount you have to pay. How do you make it easy for them where they can afford it to come see a dentist for prevention?
We have several payment plans because a lot of people are reluctant to come in because they think it's so expensive. Well, that's actually not true. We have several payment plans. A lot of our procedures are in multiple visits and multiple steps. So, for example, like a root canal build-up crown might take 2 to 4 visits, and we can break that up into 2 or 4 payments. So we have, a lot of flexible payments for people.
Okay. What about you, Dr. Rango?
For us, it's quite a different experience than the doctors. We do accept most health insurances. We do not accept Medicare or Medicaid, but most health insurances we do accept. And if you don't have health insurance, which is a topic that we need to discuss down the road.
Definitely, it's coming up soon.
We do accept credit cards, and we have slashed our prices down to the bare minimum. I mean, just so the patients can actually come and get health care. But it is affordable. And that's one of the things that if you don't have insurance, then you should have a savings plan for this type of situation. You cannot walk around in life without either health insurance or some funds that will take you in as an emergency case.
Right. Another thing that's kind of important, again, not just our community, that they'll have the car, but they won't have insurance. And I think that's something that a lot of patients out there who want to go, but they're just not too, it's priorities, I think, that they'll have the car, but not insurance. And I think even with your practice, I mean, insurance, it's a big thing, especially with so many new things coming out, where if you have insurance, it's easier to go to see a doctor, then there's a provider and all that. So how does that affect you in that sense?
Again, I agree with you. Priorities. People should have healthcare as their priority. Because if you're not healthy, you cannot perform your job. You cannot be a fruitful member of your family. So, but I see all the time people spending money. We will see that they have Lexus, they're driving in Lexus, and they don't have money to pay to the doctor. Or they will go and eat out in a fancy restaurant, but they would be hesitant to pay $50. And so we try to make it affordable, but ultimately there's a cost for everything. And the services we provide and the time we spend, I think it's totally reasonable that we expect something in return. And but again, we would want it to be more affordable for the people.
Of course. And I think another thing that's really important is that people who can afford it, and again, it's a thing about having a priority straight. It's not the car that's important, it's really, having health insurance. And what happens is it affects the children, and that's why those children end up going to the ER, for example, because they were not able to get certain shots done, immunizations are not up, and even like basic cleanings, like all those things I think factor out. And I think that is something maybe doctors can also do, and with itself where they can have some kind of a deal where, okay, we will do like the flu shots. This is a deal that we're having. Dentistry, basic cleaning, chiropractic, consultation, and different aspects like that. Maybe that's something the doctors can kind of get together and start doing. What do you guys think about that in the future?
Well, see, for my particular practice, there is no barrier to entry because we do not charge for exam and x-rays. It's free to come in and get checked out. Now, obviously, if you need to get a procedure, then you're gonna have to pay. We do also take all major insurances, and for people who are underserved, we do also take Medicaid for children. So we have a wide arrangement of different insurance we take, payment plans. Like I said, there's no barrier to entry to come to get checked out. We want people to be able to come in and get their dental problems taken care of at an affordable price.
Okay, and since we're talking about hesitating to see healthcare professionals, do you think that men might want to go more to a doctor than a woman? Have you, in your different practices, have you seen that difference where the man will come easily and say, okay, let's get checked out, or compared to a woman, she'll hold it off? What would you have to say about that?
When it comes to maintenance care or prevention care, women do go more to see me than the men. The man is just out there working, and he'll come in when he's dying. So in that case, in our practice, we get more preventive and maintenance type care patients that are women. However, when it comes to injuries, on the job injuries, 70% of our patients are males.
And have you seen that more men come and see you or more women?
Well, I would agree with him. I have more women come in, mostly with aches and pains. Not because they want to be screened for anything or taken care of. Most of the time it's just something hurting. So that's what we want to tell the community too. Most of the diseases that we're talking about are painless. And we call them as silent killers. So they kill you or they make you debilitated. That means you cannot walk, or you cannot, you cannot function in your work or any part of your life. So you have to take care of these things beforehand.
And do you think when it comes to family, because always family is an important thing, do you think like the husband should tell the wife, look, you need to go for a dental cleaning? Do you think the wife should say, look, honey, you need to go to a chiropractor, or internal medicine, you have to go and see someone? Do you think the family should kind of pressurize the person and say, look, you need to get this done? I mean, instead of going out and just having lunch on Mother's Day, for example, or Father's Day coming up, go for a screening, go for a checkup. What would you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're open actually 6 days a week. And back to your question about men and women, it's kind of an interesting trend I've noticed that the men wait until maybe they're trying to act all macho and they want to
Or it's so tough. We're
act
not
tough around their wife or significant other, but they let the pain go through the entire weekend, and Monday morning I see people whose faces are swollen like they have like a softball in their mouth or something. So, you know, they kind of wait until the very end. And as far as whether the woman should push the man or vice versa, I don't really notice any significant trends with that. But what's important is as long as they come in and they get their issues taken care of, they come in for the prevention. You know, certain families, the wife is the main breadwinner, certain families, the husband is. So it just kind of depends on the social structure and dynamics of the family.
And you know, it's not just the husband and wife. It could even be a mother and a son, a daughter. I mean, it could be anyone. What would you have to say, Dr. Rango?
Well, I think it's kind of irrelevant who does it as long as it gets done.
It gets done. But the thing
Yeah.
is, sometimes when you have that extra push, that kind of helps you too in some cases.
Well, depending upon the relationship of within a family,
Right.
A very loving husband will literally pick up his wife and take her to the doctor. In other situations, he'll say, "Hey, go, and I'll see you next week when I get back from work." So
depends
those
on
things
that.
are very difficult to gauge. I don't know of in my practice, I don't really have any statistics as to who does what, but I can tell you that most of the time when children come in, it's the mother bringing them in.
The mother
That I
bringing
can tell you for sure.
Okay, Dr. Gadlazi, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think in psychology we call it a nudge. I mean, unless if there is somebody who is there to push you, very few people are motivated to take care of themselves. And it could be your workplace. They may have to push you to go and get your physical done. It could be your family member. And I think as a community, we should all pay attention to it and discuss these issues with each other so we can remind each other.
Okay, all right, definitely we'll talk more. It's time for another break. So time आ रहा है एक छोटी सी break का, लेकिन आप लोग कहीं मत जाइएगा. We will be right back. But before we go on break, I want to tell you the next gift that we are giving, compliments of Honey Derm. The question is very simple, and you need to answer that, and that is, how many times a week does Sunday Brunch from Houston air? My show, how many times a week does it come in a week? And the more you call, the more chances you have of winning a product from Honey Derm. And telling you about Honey Derm, it's an organic, all natural products available online. It's made from honey wax. The owner is Dr. Musa, and they are giving you a free consultation. Call them. The number is on your screen. They have hair and skincare products. And finally, the number you see right now on the screen, save kar lein is number ko. It is 855-886-6387, extension 4. We'll be right back.